folks, and welcome to today's video. Today I want to say a thank you to everyone that's tuned into the Frag Movie and has enjoyed the content over the 2021 period. Today I'm going to be talking about the things that I did to make the video, some thoughts and experiences with gears and just in general video editing and other stuff, and I just want to give some sort of enlightenment and showcase basically the work I put in. Before I clean the computer out of all of the files and I get rid of gears from my brain, I wanted to just put this out there and show you guys what kind of made the video possible, show you some tips and tricks, and just have a general chat about a few things, nothing too crazy. So without further ado, if you haven't seen, we'll swap screen now. If you haven't seen already, this is obviously the Frag Movie. It's been finished and it's been uploaded. If you want to check it out, it is available on YouTube. If you go to my profile page, it will be my pinned video and you're able to check it out. Yes, it doesn't have a lot of views. Yes, Gears of War isn't that popular anymore, and neither are Frag movies, but that's not the point. The point is, I wanted to make this thing, put it out there, pin it to my page, and it's finished and it's done. And I don't have to think about it, and I never have to make it again. And it's out there, and it was a creative outlet, and I enjoyed making it, and we move on with our lives. The idea behind the Frag Movie was, as you know, as you can see up there, the GGZII community. I wanted to get people to play the game. I wanted to get people to have fun. So you'll notice if you follow me on Twitch, I always say, oh, hey, I'm going live. Or if you follow the Discord, you'll notice that I'm doing a community event or something. There's always something going on. And we got a group of players to play some games. We probably managed to play for 3 days. We probably played 20 or 30 matches before the lobbies died. I was the only person in the world hosting the game. Literally, I was the only one. So I was unable to really play much sort of variety of lobbies and everything. I had to make do with what I could make do with, which meant not a lot of clips, not a lot of great quality, but I tried to make something special out of it, and I hope I've done that. So the first part of sort of action was to obviously play the game, get the clips, and sort of just, do the very, very basic. So I played the game, got a few clips or whatever you want to call them, a few moments, and I thought, okay, I'll post them and post them. Then I thought, no, I do want to make a Frag Movie, so I'll make it a little bit special. So I started to edit it together, and then I thought, well, if I'm never going to play the game again, and I'm never really going to interact with the game in that way again, I want to make it a little bit more interesting than just posting the footage. So we'll do some more editing. So I began to edit it, edited it into a sort of rough kind of video, rendered it, posted it, didn't like it, didn't make it public, and started again. I'll do this a lot with a lot of videos. So what I did was I got the clips all together. You can see all of the clips here. This is just some of them. And I would start to import them. This is step one. So I'd play an annex game or something. We'd just be messing about. We'd be doing some basic stuff. It doesn't really matter what it is. For example, here's a clip here that I missed. There are clips here that maybe should have been included, maybe weren't included. I just used what I could, right? So I've got my clips in the file, nothing too crazy going on here. And I've sectioned them all out, and I start using bins. So in Premiere Pro, you can make a new bin. You can call this clips, and you can open up the bin and put your stuff in there. So my used clips would go in a bin. The ones that I didn't want would disappear. Then I would have had a section of clips that were ready to use, and then I would start to come up with an idea. So when I was playing the game and I was thinking about what I wanted, I have this Frag Movie on my mind. So when I was playing Doom, and I did my review for Doom and I noticed the portal, I thought it was a pretty cool effect of me going through the portal. So I went and re-recorded it without the HUD, and I went and made this portion of the Frag Movie, which is actually Doom Eternal's portal. And all of the little things in the video, there's lots of little things you might not have noticed, is they are little homages to things that I have enjoyed during my time. So Doom is a shooter that I've really enjoyed, so I put a little bit of Doom into it. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but you'll notice here that Carmine goes through the portal, and that is from Doom. It also has Frag Movie style music from Frag movies that I personally loved, like Tech Nine Stevie, things that have inspired me throughout my years. So there's tons of little homages in there, and stuff you might notice. Sort of the basics of the thing were I wanted to create a story. So I started off with a sort of introduction to the film. So all of these titles are handmade, meaning I've done the animation for the text. Over the top is the Matrix text playing, which you can see here, just this little flicker. That is the Matrix text, which I also made. I did the lens flare. I have hand animated a ton of stuff here, and it took a long time. We can explain a little bit further, but we'll just skim through this. This is a cutscene that I made myself, so this is going into the Gears of War engine, like so. Either creating a scene or loading a scene up for yourself and manipulating the camera and characters around. So what I did was I went into an area of the campaign which you might not have seen before. I sort of moved all of the rocks and rebuilt the zone. Got the camera to go down the particle system of the lava. I inserted this Carmine character here. I think I whacked the helmet on him. I've animated the lens flare. This isn't the final project, by the way. I've got the text coming on. We're going to speak about this. So the Theron guard isn't normally there. I built the Theron guard, animated him, attached the torque bow to him, made him do the point emoji. The Brumac isn't normally there. I've animated the Brumac, made him walk in, made him roar. This Cedar isn't normally here. I've made him fly. The Corpser, I've placed him there, made him roar. And then this area is built by me myself. And I go through these rocks that aren't normally here, dip through the water, fade into one of my favorite shots from a Game Battles match. Again, paying homage to just the sort of time I've spent on the game. And then it fades through the water and it goes through the hollows. Now in this area, this is a emergence hole I built with falling debris and a locust climbing out. I've also attached the shotgun to the locust. I've had to learn all of this, and I'm not someone that understands how the engine works. I only had 2 weeks to learn it. I tried to get some help, but I'll be brutally honest with you. There was a couple of people that did help, and then there were a couple of people that know how to use the engine, and they just refused to help. And it feels a little bit gatekeeping in a way, like the people that know how to use the engine don't even want to share it because they're like, oh, this guy might be able to do something that I don't want him to do. Just felt a little bit gatekeepy, and it got kind of annoying that people were just flat out refusing to help for other reasons. So I trucked on with it, and I've tried to do the best I can do. So I've built this emergence hole, and I've made the debris fall, and I've got the locust climbing out, and I pan through the floor of Clock Tower. And then I dip to a different camera angle of Clock Tower, which I've made this camera fly through. I've then placed this krill here, which you can see, and I've hand animated the krill to fly and move around the Clock Tower area. And I've also placed these characters in the set position of where my first clip is. So I've had to basically rig all the characters to have the correct positions, poses, models, climbing animations, and all of this. It took a long time to learn how to do and to do it. I don't think it's particularly impressive. It was just more that you had to get through the learning process and digging through archives, and the engine would crash and everything was finicky. Then I refilled the emergence hole in this scene with a different 3D object, and I filled the emergence hole back up so it looked like he'd come out and the emergence hole had been closed and he was now ready to fight off the enemy, and the swarm were kind of like helping him out, the locust and the krill and everything. So cut to a different angle, I've got Kim hopping over, then it cuts to him landing, and we've got all of this, right? We've got like, here's just basic clips. Here's like the war journal, for example, server location Sarah, war journal, paying homage to like Gears 2 and Gears of War. And then also I do like play the game from Overwatch, so I rebuilt a play of the game from Overwatch using the Overwatch text, hand animating the crosses and the kill feed and everything like it was a play of the game. Again, drawing on the glasses as a bit of a comedy joke with a crown. Then there's little things like these fly-throughs. And I've been doing everything whilst that's been going on. So there's little things such as, you know, for example, this animation here is me making a green screen of Marcus practicing how to make a green screen and shooting and rolling. And then what you'll actually see is in one of these areas, when we get to Clock Tower, when we get to Canals, there's just a couple of seconds you will see just here, if we can get this to play, because we are there, you will see him rolling through, Marcus rolling through. That is from this green screen that I built. So even just this simple 1 second clip did take a while to get going. We've then got the fly through of the camera. The locust then shoots the bullet and I make the camera follow the bullet. This took forever to learn how to do. It's still not perfect, but in After Effects and other stuff we managed to make it a little bit better. And you will notice little things such as here that he actually changes body model to a gore Marcus, which is rigged with his Lancer on the floor, and also his cog tags have fallen, which is obviously not typically in multiplayer, but we managed to make the cog tags appear after his death, which I thought was pretty cool. And there's a lot of stuff going on. Let's have a look at some other kind of things. So some stuff that you might not have noticed or, you know, might not have picked up on is these little scenes here, these little flashes of red are actually the Gears of War 1 menu, because I actually love the Gears 1 menu. And inside of the editing program, if we can find it, this is, if you didn't know, this is actually what the Gears of War 1 menu looks like. It is this 3D space that has a camera attached to depth of field that moves in and out. And you can see that is like the classic red fog for Gears of War. So you can imagine the camera is panning in and out like this, right? And it's moving around like this, and it's moving to this text in and out. And this is what it looks like. And when you go into the matinee of the actual thing, you can see how the menu was built, which for a lot of people like myself, it was just a very interesting learning process. So you will see here that we have FOV, aspect ratio, movement. We have some different boxes, some logos, and we have an FOV switch and blurry. So what it's doing is it's keyframed manually to jump around this sort of camera, and that is what the Gears of War menu is. It's right there in perfect quality. That is how it was built, and as I zoom out, you can see this is what it was. And for me, learning about my favorite game was really awesome. Yes, the Frag movie was cool, but this is really what I enjoyed. And so those menu screens are spliced over the top, such as just about there. There's a little frame of the menu, which some of you might not have seen because I've edited it slightly. And there's loads of things that I really enjoyed about the project in general. I'm trying to think of, for example, this scene here is one of the more complicated ones, but in a way it's more simple. Basically janked together a load of animations to sort of make it look like the guy was jumping out of the roof. Enabled shadows on the character model, so it had the shadows, and that's kind of how it was going. And then I did some work in After Effects, such as yeah, there's tons of little things I did in After Effects. The biggest thing for me, which I think really brought the montage together, was I'd made some of these scenes, such as, let's go into, say, the Matrix scene, for example, if I can find it. I might have got rid of it by now. But for example, this is me building the clock tower fly-through scene, rooftops, learning. You can see the blue line here is the path of the camera, so it's flying through, and then there's no character there. So I would practice, okay, this is what it looks like. Then I'd add in the character models. Eventually what I learned to do was I learned to change the scope color, because in all of the Frag movies that I've seen, all of the characters have the wrong gun. you might notice this. They all sort of have the wrong color scope, because when you apply a sniper to a character in this game, they have the wrong color scope because it's just not in the files, so to speak. What I ended up figuring out was you could change the color of the scope, reattach that material to the scope, etc. So that's kind of how I fixed that. The matrix scene itself was kind of complex. So this text here, I ended up building this text inside of DaVinci's Resolve, which I've never used before. So I built the matrix text myself. Then I green screened the character on a white background, sort of inverted it, got the matrix over him. And I picked this stranded guy because he wears the hat and beard kind of like myself. So it was kind of amusing to me. And then I started to move the characters in this 3D world that I built. And I obviously laid out the scene, which if anyone's ever seen The Matrix, the TV with the two chairs, it's kind of identical. I thought it was kind of neat. Flew through in loads of different angles, filmed a scene with and without the chair, did some animation to make it disappear. And then you can see here that this is a green TV, which is then re-green screened on a later date to zoom into the world. And what I did was in the world, this white glowy background, I used Rad Video Tools, which is like an old converter, and I converted my DaVinci Resolve video into a file that the engine could read, and then I applied the video as a texture file to the walls and built this 3D room with the characters in. And then I kind of cut to this scene, which is like a map that people that haven't played Gears PC might not have seen. And I think it looked quite cinematic the way it came from the black into the pipe. It rolled sideways. It cut to the Emergance trailer that people might not have seen. I then hand animated Hammer of Dawns to come down, and I flew through underneath the glass, and I added in some effects here of like running water, built some fire into the map, flew through the fire. And then what we end up doing is going to these TVs, and I animated in After Effects the TVs to be full of the matrix code, and then the matrix code to rain down. And then we zoomed into the TVs and into the matrix itself. Similar stuff like adding the Berserker into rooftops, making that. This was when I got a little bit better at the engine, so I had him roar, I had him move and swing, and I also made him hit the camera. And at this point I'd figured out how to sort of make a character fire. So you can see here his scope is indeed red, not blue, which actually you will have no idea how long that took me to figure out. Just a little thing like that, so it has the red scope and not the blue, took hours and hours and hours of documentation to figure out. And you'll see it like flip, and then it pans in and out. And I thought it looked pretty cool. Next, this took forever to learn. To get the character walking fluidly, to get the character to be animated smoothly, took me so long to figure out how to do it. Because what it was doing was it was originally jumping back to its original position. Then I was forcing it to catch up, and it looked janky. I figured out how to animate properly, and then that allowed me to do things like he could drop down, roll, he could walk up and swap and pick up. That took me, like that scene, just that simple scene probably took me absolutely hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to figure out how to do. So yeah, there's lots of little things. The next big one was probably this, where I sort of made this color blast kind of texture based off, there's an error in the engine, but I really liked the error. The error threw up all these weird colors. So I sort of color blasted the environment, got Hoffman to jump down here. It's not great, but it kind of works. Got him to land and roll. The camera's panning down. He lands. It cuts. I ended up changing that bit. And then it goes to the door. And then I put the different angles of me filming him kicking the door. Then what I did here was I went into Mansion, redid Mansion with this door here doesn't exist, by the way. I built this door for this zone, so this door isn't in the game. I built the door, knocked the door down, and then rebuilt the same door in Mansion here, and then faded. You can see here the door is inside of Mansion, and then I faded off the door into this area. So just that alone took a bloody ton of time. And yeah, you know, for example, this was like the only game that I got to play that I wasn't host. It was the only lobby in the world, and it had like 300 ping, and it just sucked, basically. Then my Xbox died. So there's tons of stuff going on here. The main thing that I really enjoyed, apart from learning the engine and doing all of these things, was pretty much the audio. I've never really done audio in a video before, and I've always watched COD 4 Frag movies, and the audio's always been clean. Like, the sniper shots have always been clean, and people have said in the video, oh, I really love the OG headshot noise. Well, actually, what's going on here is, for this, what I did was I went into the engine and I recorded every single file that I thought I would need separately. So, for example, let's just go to a shooting part of the right. Let's go here. So if we go here, you're going to notice that for this shot, there's lots of different files. So there's different files. There's like an audio for cocking the shotgun back, shooting. There's audio for a shell falling. There's audio for a gib noise. And I then combined those into a little group. And then I had my actual shotgun noise, right? This meant that I could turn down the original audio, and then if I wanted to, if I felt it suited the scene, I could turn up the gib noise, maybe lower it so it doesn't make an explosion, turn up the shotgun cocking noise or the active noise. So you'll notice that in the video, the active noises during this section are really crisp and clean, and so are the shotgun shells. That's because they're all put in post-production, and I've controlled the audio levels, which made a huge difference because it allowed me to do things like this, which I thought made a large difference to the video overall, is when we go to, say, for instance, here, the Carmine scene. If we can find it, skim through her. Let's see if we can find it. I'll use the rendered version as it skims a bit faster. Oh, we're struggling today, boys. We've got all these files to get through. Sorry for the technical issues here. But regardless, like, for example, this point here, Carmine is actually saying, he's saying, "I'm dead." So I start the audio now, and then the word dead ends on when the guy explodes. And that obviously isn't in the game. I've gone back and I've recorded the audio file here, which you can see starting just down here, and then it ends. So it fades in and ends. So it's allowed me to control the scene and put in basically like some non-diegetic audio, which I think added overall to it. So here we go. So for example, when Carmine is shouting, this is a 4-piece, by the way, so I killed the 4 people this round. So this was like a zoom through his goggle effect. And then when I kill this guy and it says 2 remain, there's actually audio playing here of Carmine shouting 2 left, 1 left, you know. So I've managed to sync that up. So it just basically sounds like as I'm killing the people in the game, that audio is meant to be there, but obviously that audio doesn't actually exist. In here, there's just little things that I did. If we go, say, for example, if we pull up the proper video to help you guys out. So if we pull up the full video here, this would have probably been better. What you can see is little things have just tidied up. So basically, we've added in the glow. There's this little bit here. He's roaring, then it changes to a little bit of darkness. If we get to, say, for example, where should we go to? Let's pick a random point and explain. So for example, this is a pretty cool scene. I flew through Clock Tower and then I've overlaid the menu that we rebuilt. So I sort of changed how the Gears menu worked in the engine like this. And then I've overlaid it onto this fly through. And then I fly through the map here of Fuel Depot. And then as I land, I've put the camera in the same position that I would be scoped, so it looks like a seamless transition. I've then gone ahead and I've manually masked out with rotoscoping, but I did it manually because I wasn't sure how to do it in After Effects, not been manual. So I've manually cut out this guy and made him red. And then I've faded on like this text of Carmine shouting, which I have, again, manually added on the audio here. And I've then circular masked it and faded it out, so it's not taking up the full screen. Adding in little shakes here, little shakes and wiggles and stuff like that. And for example, it's just little things that I tidied up. So for here, a little bit of blur, get some movement going, get some hue changes, and then just here, just as he shoots, just there, I've added in a little Gaussian blur and a bit of exposure. So it sort of brightens up, then fades. And the difference is small, but it just looks like it's actually been fired. Whereas if you go to, say, this version here, it just doesn't look anywhere near as impactful, you know. This was like the original that I did, you know. And it just doesn't quite look as good as when you compare it to the color corrected blurred out version with the exposure. So there's just lots of little things that I sat, and normally I would never bother doing these things because I would just find it tedious and pointless. But because I'm never going to do this again, yeah, I decided to put in the extra time to it. Little graphics. I didn't build some of these. Some of them I altered, some of them I didn't. But these cost me basically 100 quid. So yeah, the montage cost me money to make because I wanted to make it good. So it doesn't, you know, that might sound crazy to somebody to spend like 100 quid on buying graphics and working out on how to do stuff. But to me, that's the whole point of like creation. You're meant to like put a bit of effort into it yourself. So I put a ton of effort into it. And I hope it's just unique, you know. You know, these flyby scenes, you know, yes, people can do them. People have done them in the past, but I think it's pretty unique and new. And it was just a lovely experience to learn how to do the end. So this is like, you know, I'm fading out of War Machine. It goes to the sky, and then I dip into the clock tower sky through the cog. And then here I've made this character jump. And this just took ages. Not because it's particularly difficult, but it just took a while to learn how to do this damn stuff. So I've got Dom. I've learned how to attach his shotgun to his right hand, and I've animated him so it looks smooth and it pauses. Then it rotates to the sniper, and, you know, he's got the red scope because it bloody took forever to learn how to do that. And then it cuts, and yeah, it was just a process. And then I thought, yeah, I'd finish it off with some like color blast kind of special effects here, because I think color blast is kind of like a cool thing about Gears in a way. And it's also completely goes against what Gears of War 1 is, which I thought was kind of amusing. Like having Hoffman roll through this like candy bright world into like the dark mansion, I thought was pretty cool. So I made this text and did all this in After Effects. And it's just been a really big project. Lots and lots of work and effort. And I was really pleased with the audio mainly. I don't know if anyone spotted the audio, but as you can see, if we can find an example of, say, the shooting of the gun. So, for example, on this here, what you're looking at is this. Well, I think we can play it for you here. So if we solo this track. So I don't know if you can quite hear that. So that, all I'm doing there is I'm just playing the scope noise. So I've got every component of what makes a sniper shot: the scope noise, the click, the shot, the bullet falling, as you can hear. That's just the shot, but you'll notice there's no crunch to it. So then I add in the crunch there. And that's why the headshot noises sounded so crisp, because they are the complete headshot noise, start to finish, with no ambient audio. And then I've added in the oh yeah. So when you play it all together, it just sounds like a crisp headshot with Carmine saying it, but actually none of that is in the scene. And I did that for every single shot in the game, which took a long time, trust me. So that is it. That's the kind of the finished project. And I think the one thing I've learned from this is my workflow, using the bins, learning how to, so for example, render and replace. So sometimes I was able to take a section of the composition and then render it in After Effects, and then the two would be linked together. That made workflow easier. Really working on the audio, I think, makes a big difference. I'll definitely take that into consideration in future videos. And yeah, look, it might not have got the views. It might not have got, you know, for example, like if I upload a Gears 5 rant, it'll probably get 2,000 to 3,000 views. If I spend 200 to 300 hours working on this, it might get 500 views. Yeah, it's not technically worth it. Spending $100, spending money on creating a piece, yeah, technically not worth it, but that's not what it's about. Like, I'm happy with the final product, so that's all that matters. Yeah, so, that's kind of what made the Frag movie. It's not perfect. I wouldn't even say it's very good. Am I happy with it? Yes and no. I'm never really happy with any level of work that I do. But I think considering that I had to figure out the engine with basically no help on a game that, if we're being honest, like the community are pretty much knobs, a lot of them. For example, we posted this video to the subreddit of Gears and it got banned. Why? Because I'm me. That's probably why, because they see it's got Z in the title and some weirdo fucking bans it. And also, I only had one comment on Reddit, and it was from a guy that literally stalks me and my family. They've called me, they've called my house, they harass me, they run multiple social media accounts to just fake tweet slander, cause a lot of stress to me and my self and people around me. Just a very, very strange community. Whilst all this is going on, the bloody developers of the game banned me from the game for seemingly no reason. So I've been getting all this shit whilst trying to also host a community, keep my channel going, host community events, work on the video. Whilst all COVID's going on, I've got no bloody awful, I can't eat and taste and all this shit. There's just been a lot going on this year. And frankly, I'm very, very pleased that I managed to get the video finished for the date that I set. That's all it comes down to. So you can see, we've got the flybys in the initial practice. So you can see here, we've got that. And then I was like, I don't like the blue scope. So I relearned how to do it. And the problem is the thing crashes all the time. All the time. So that was a big problem. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. There's some... Yeah, here, for example, here's an example of me making the door. So I'm moving the camera around and then it cuts and I'm like, okay, I don't really want it to pan up to the sky. So I'm going to change this door, move the door around. Now the door goes flat. Then I'm going to pan through the door, So it just took a lot of time, to figure out what I want to do creatively. So you can see then I was trying it without the color effect. You've got the fall in here, the roll in doesn't quite look as good, some early takes of it, but then I was like, well, I do like this door bit, so I'll keep that. Again, adding sound effects of like little things like the door being kicked down. I think I liked I probably like that the most, strangely, is because I felt like everything was coming together at that point. When he kicked the door down and there was that bang and then the audio dipped, I think it suited it. But yeah, you know, it's just been a really, really wild, hectic time. That's all I've really got to say. I just wanted to have a chat about how it all went. Say thanks to anybody that's watched it. It's got 100 likes. Thanks to anybody that tuned in and supported during that time. I have my link tree that I do need to fix, but pretty much this is like, if you go to any of my videos, my link tree gives you everything. So I've got my 2 YouTube channels. If you want to subscribe to the alternate YouTube channel, which is like about sports and stuff, so you can see there, that one got 8,000, 2,000, got a couple of videos that did okay. We're trying to grow that channel. It's like this is probably going to be like a reaction / sporting channel for the moment, because that's what I enjoy. So yeah, that's my second channel. I've got my community Discord. See, I've got my Twitter. So I've made a new Twitter and social account. So if you ever want to find the new news out, I don't really spam here. I just post my work. For example, I was showing you where you can get some free games. I just like to, you know, keep it simple on here. It's not going to spam you. I've got my Twitch, how you can sub to me for free. You can become a member if you want to support. So if you become a member for as little as $1.99, you'll be able to support all the effort that I've put in this year. You've got my TikTok and Instagram, which I've just started. Yeah, that's kind of how it's been going. Not exactly sure what this link is. Oh yeah, so this link is like all the equipment that I use. So if you're ever interested in what I use to make my videos, there's a list of all my equipment. Forgot about that. So yeah, there's just all the ways to support me there. I honestly, if I go full screen here for the last 5 minutes, like, honestly, the Gears of War has been really fun. I'm still, obviously, at some point in my life, probably going to play it again. I'm probably going to talk about it again. But I think you can fully understand how everything's gone on, how there's seemingly so many strange people still trying to get at me. I just don't want to be in that space. I haven't been in that space for a while now. I haven't had any contact with people from Gears. Like, I had somebody yesterday tag me in a poll like, oh, can you share this? Shout out to, you know, you are angry if you're watching. He was like, can you share this poll and talk about Gears balance? And I was just like, I'm not doing it, because frankly, I just end up getting a load of shit for no reason. When you've had people literally call your family and literally like ring people that you know privately and be like, hey, I'm just letting you know that I'm going to do this, this, and this to this guy. And also he's a massive blah, 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 and he's this and he's that. And it's like, what are you going on about? Like, when you've had all of that drama, you've had a massive company publicly say, oh yeah, we're banning this user because he's a fucking horrible piece of shit. And you get all of this shit, and you're getting very little back. You can understand why I've sort of dropped out of the game. I can't play the game. I don't really enjoy it anyway. And to sum it up, I thought to myself, yeah, all right, I've made this Frag movie. I'll post it to the Gears Reddit. Went to the Gears Reddit, posted it. It got banned. It got downvoted. Someone else posted it in my Discord and said, yeah, mine got removed. You know, so they still have this weirdo attitude on there. And when I went on the Gears Reddit, people were asking for a Phoenix collection. That's all they were asking for. A Phoenix collection. Like, I'm not sure they're aware, but Gears 1, 2, and 3, you can play 4K 60 FPS. And Gears 4 and 5 are modern. They don't need remastering. So I don't know what a remaster would do. You know, you will have people that will upload a video like, I made this montage 1 year ago, here it is. It'll be like the worst quality thing I've ever seen, no offense, and that will get like 20 upvotes. But if GGZII posts anything, it's like, oh, you're a piece of shit. So I'm just not, it doesn't, you know, what's the word? It doesn't inspire me to keep going. We've got people talking about NFTs for gears and stuff. It's like, I'll be brutally honest, I think a lot of people deserve the franchise they've got right now. People saying they'd kill for a Phoenix collection. What's going to happen, okay, just to sum it up, is they would bring them out. The community would decide which one is the best. That one would get the most patches and the most work. And that's the one that would be played the most, and all the others would be left to die. And then we'd all be stuck playing an old game that's irrelevant, that has all its quirks and problems, that has no relevance in the gaming scene. So, look, I just don't really have too much to say on it. Like, it's, you know, put it this way, man, you still get people today saying, I saw something yesterday, they'll say, well, if Gears of War wasn't all about the Nasher, I might play this franchise. Like, they don't understand that there are a variety of weapons that are all good. You just have to improve, and it's just like, it's painful, mate. When I hear about Gears, I have a lot to say. Not being able to voice my opinion without having the devs or the community shit down me throat effectively, I'd just rather not go there. So that was it. That's my exit to Gears. If you can't tell, I've literally just woken up, by the way, and I was like, I just want to wake up. I've got my coffee, and I just want to get this video out there, explain what's gone on. Thank you, folks, for the support. I don't know when the next video will be. It could be tomorrow. It might be in a few weeks. I'm not sure. I think I just need to like decompress for a few weeks because there's been a lot been going on. And I just need to like, just think about what I want to do for 2022. I'm not even sure if I'll carry on making videos. I don't know where I am at the moment headspace wise. But I just wanted to get that video out and say thanks, and it's done. And again, I gave content creation a real good go. I don't think I'm ever going to make it in content creation. Maybe stars haven't aligned. Maybe I'm not good enough. It's fine. I accept it. You know, I'm not delusional. But I need to think about 2022 properly, so just give me some time. All right. Appreciate all the help, as always.